Today we're going to talk about what it means to have your student loans in default and 3 ways to get them out of default. Hey friends, welcome to Freedom in a Budget. I am Kelly and today we're going to talk about student loans. I know student loans oh too well. I have personally dealt with this topic of student loan default. If you guys don't know too much about my story, my student loans were in default for several years and it was bad. It was really ugly. It was one of the worst times of my life and one of the most stressful times. So I'm going to share with you a little bit my story, 3 ways to get your student loans out of default, what it means when they're default. We're going to go into all the nitty-gritty details, and I hope that this video is super informative. If you know someone that has student loans in default that are about to go into default, please send this video. I think that it would be helpful for them, and hopefully we can avoid some people dealing with this if we can catch it on the front end. So just to give you a little bit of my story, I came down to Florida when I was 18, moved down here, packed up my car, and went to massage school. I do not do massage now. No, I do receive massages as self-care, but I do not give massages anymore. I'm not licensed to give massages. So I came down here, took out a ridiculous amount of student loan debt. And one thing that really stunk was because I came from Massachusetts, I had to pay out-of-state tuition, which no one told me, Kelly, if you just moved there and lived there for 6 months, you'd be able to pay in-state tuition and save thousands of dollars. Yeah, that would have been nice if someone had told me that. So I had to pay all of this student loans, and for a while, money was just so tight. And, I'd never had my parents to help me. I've never, it's always just been 100% on my own. I don't have family that I could call and say, hey, can you help me pay this bill? No, it was a struggle. I talked about my video on from car repossessed to 6 figures and just kind of giving a little bit more of my story. So go check that out. I think that will be helpful for you. I used to make about $20,000 a year. So it was a totally different time for me. And I really was struggling with it. I wanted something better. I wanted something different, but I didn't know how to do it. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on how I was able to break that cycle, how I was able to get ahead of my money. And I really feel like they're easy, practical ways, but ways that you can totally do it and totally change just the way that your mindset is, and the way that not only is it just your mindset, like, yes, positive thinking and mindset is so big on this, but actionable steps that are totally doable and ones that you can take right now. But I had student loans in default for a long time. I was afraid to answer the phone. I was afraid to have a knock at the door. I thought that because I had a knock on the door, they were going to come and take all of my possessions and my cats and all this stuff because I was in default. I had my taxes garnished for several years. I didn't receive a tax refund. Any tax refund, it went to my student loans. They were almost at the point where they were going to start garnishing my paycheck for my job, which is really scary and something they totally can do. So make sure you are staying on top of it. And if your student loans are in default, make sure that you're taking care of it, guys. I was so afraid to answer the phone. I was so afraid to make that phone call. And this is one of the tips I'm going to get into is just do it. When I actually talked to them and when I actually manned up and did it, they were so nice. They worked with me. They came up with a plan that was able to, fit my budget and fit. I wasn't on a budget then, but kind of, I was able to pay it. And it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be the most grueling interrogation phone call. I don't know why I thought it was going to be an interrogation, but it wasn't. And they were so helpful. So just get on the phone. Now, before we get into anything else, I do want to say that I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I don't work for any of these companies. If you do want more in-depth detail than what I'm going into this video, please reach out to someone else. Reach out to someone that works for the companies. Reach out to a licensed financial advisor. I'm just strictly sharing my story and sharing some resources. That's it. So now let's talk about what student loan default really is. Student loan default goes into effect when you are late on up to 9 payments. Now it seems like a lot, but honestly, those 9 months, they fly by. If you miss one payment, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just another, no, they didn't come after me yet. It's not a big deal. Those 9 months will be here before you know it, and you can be into default. If you have federal Perkins, you just have to be late on a due date for it to go into default. So if you have federal Perkins, be way more on top of it If you do, that is serious stuff. If you have a job loss, a pay cut, an unexpected child, whatever the different circumstance may be, and you have a big life-altering event that you cannot pay your student loans on time in the full amount, give them a call. Work out a repayment plan. Work out something. Go into a income-based payment plan. Work out something. They're going to work with you. They want their money. So definitely make sure you're handling it on the front end and not after it's gotten too serious and you're too far deep and you're starting to miss payments. No, you want to handle it right away on the front end. Here are 3 ways to get your loans out of default. Number 1 is loan rehabilitation. Now for this one, you need to make 9 payments on time within a 10-month period. So 9 payments within 10 months on time with an income-based repayment plan. And once you rehabilitate, you can only do this once. So it's not like you can rehabilitate and then 3 years down the road, oh, we're tight again, we need to do it again. No, you can only do this one time. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you have your stuff together. Make sure that you are budgeting and everything else. Number 2 is loan consolidation. Now, to consolidate a defaulted federal student loan into a direct consolidation student loan, you must either agree to repay the new direct consolidation loan under an income-based repayment plan or make 3 consecutive voluntary on-time payments, full month payments on the defaulted loan before you consolidate. Now, I know that was a mouthful, but before you consolidate, you need to make sure you have those 3 payments done that are on time, that they are part of the program. And number 3 is repayment in full. Now, I know that this is not, an option for most people, that they can't just write a check and pay for them all in full, but that is an option if you do come into some money, an inheritance or something like that, is to just pay them off in full and be done with the default. If your loans are about to go into default, be sure to act quickly. There are many, many consequences of loans that are in default. So a couple of them. Number 1 is you will lose eligibility for future student aid. Next one is you may not be able to purchase a home or sell a home. Number 3 is your loan officer may be able to take you to court. And number 4 is your entire loan may need to be paid in full. All right, guys, I know that was a lot, but here are some final tips on how to really just deal with this all and make it, as easy as possible. The first tip is make sure you take notes of all of your phone calls. When I was going through this process, it was a lot, but I made sure I had a notebook of any type of phone call that I had. It was all stored in that one notebook. Any paperwork I received, it all in that one notebook. So every time that I spoke to someone, I wrote down the date, I wrote down the time, I wrote down their names, all of that, so that when I had to talk to someone, I can say, no, I spoke to Amanda on this day at this time, and that is not what was said. And then they're like, oh, let me look it up. Let me look up our call notes and everything like that. If you are on top of it and you know your stuff, you're going to make it a lot farther. Next up is keep any records that you receive, any paperwork in the mail, any emails, anything like that. You want to keep that with that notebook. Keep a file of every single piece of paperwork. Keep a file of when your loans are out of default and you're back into good standing. Make sure you keep all of those records. And then eventually when your loans are paid off, keep that record as well. And then let me know as a money win and we will celebrate on Dumbing Debt Friday. Next is keep in touch with your loan servicer. If you are having problems making a payment, if something is going on, like I said earlier, let them know. Be in contact. Don't be afraid to call them. Be in contact. Let them know that this is going on. This is the situation. What can we do? How can we justify this? How can I make this work? And then lastly, again, don't be afraid to answer the phone. Please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. They will not be as mean as you think they'll be. They may lie. They may, do what they need to do. They are sometimes a collection company to, get you to get their money. But don't be afraid, guys, and go in with a nice attitude. So many times I've worked customer service for years and years. Those people that are nasty on the phone, they're going to get rude back. They're not going to want to help you. So if you are nice, if you are saying, I just need some help here, let's work through this together, they're going to go to bat for you. They are going to help you. So go in with a good attitude. And you know what? If you can see that your blood is starting to boil, be like, you know what? Something's come up. I need to go. Can we pick up the phone later? You don't let your emotions get too far and then let the nasty come out of you, because it's not going to be helpful. Alright guys, that was it for the video. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, please leave the secret emoji down below in the comments. We all know I love the secret emoji. Here are my social media handles and blog. Please go check those out. As well as don't forget to subscribe. If you are new, I would love for you to join the family. To hear more about my story, go watch my From a Car Repossessed to Six-Figure Income.